In today's video, we're talking about things that you should consider after receiving a citation or after being arrested in the state of Arizona. So many times people are stopped, they're cited, they're given a ticket, or they're arrested, they're put in handcuffs. By the time the whole ordeal is over, people's minds are a little out of sorts. You can imagine it's a traumatic thing to go through, and nobody likes dealing with the police. People get nervous, they get afraid, their mind gets off track, they lose focus of what's important. So today we're going to talk about some things that you should consider immediately after an arrest or a traffic stop. So what we're wanting to do in this, the goal of everything here is to preserve evidence. How much evidence can we capture and preserve? This is what the government does. This is what the police do. They write reports immediately after. In most cases, it's pretty immediate. They write reports immediately after the incident. Many of them will often have body cameras or dash cameras, and their goal is to preserve evidence. They log it, and they make sure that it's supposed to be in accordance with their rules and their policies and procedures. We're trying to do the same thing. We're trying to document evidence. We're trying to record it in a way that we can use in your defense. So a couple things to consider. Number one, remember this, you were there, we were not. Your defense lawyer is almost never there unless you call them immediately and they can appear for you or they can hop on a phone with you. But we're not there, you're there. That's why it's your responsibility to at least make note of these things, because even if we hire an investigator after the fact or we go visit the scene, we're still not going to be there. We're contemporaneous with you. We're not going to have been there with you. So we're going to rely on some of your memory to see what we can do to start exploring our options, exploring some of the defenses that may or may not be available to us. So the first thing that we look at are, were there surveillance cameras? Were there any footage, anything that could have been recording what happened? So that can include body cameras. Were the police, did they have their body cameras on? If you're in the middle of this situation, if you're there, if you're watching this video to be proactive and you haven't faced the situation yet, you can ask law enforcement, is your body camera on? I want to make sure that this is all being recorded and documented. We advocate many, many times that people get their own dash cam in their cars so that they can have their own version of a recording, because police say that you violated the civil traffic laws all the time and they use that as a justification to stop you. In reality, most of the time they're just extremely minor traffic offenses that you would never be stopped for, but for the police are looking for a specific offense like a DUI. So if you have your own body camera or your own, dash camera, then you can actually save that footage and we can show that in an evidentiary hearing to say, look, the officer's basis for the traffic stop was totally illegitimate, and that can be a good cause for a dismissal of the entire case. That's why it's important. So are you recording things on your own? Many people nowadays, they have cell phones that can record things. We always recommend you do that. There are apps available that will allow you to record and send it straight up into the cloud. That way, even if the police confiscate your phone, that stuff is being stored and saved somewhere. Also, if it's a moving violation, like a traffic violation, is there any other video from your friends or your family, anybody who was in the car with you? Were you able to take any pictures? So if there's an accident involved, did you get out of the vehicle and take pictures? Many times people will do that. But the goal is to preserve as much evidence as possible. Write down the names of witnesses, anybody who was around. If you were going out with a big group of friends, who was with you? You may remember it that very next day when you get out of custody, but you're probably not going to remember it 6 months later when we're preparing for a trial. So put that stuff down, put pen to paper, grab a pen, grab some paper, and ask all your friends for statements. Tell them to write down what they remembered. You write down what you remembered. If there's text messages back and forth, take screenshots of those from everybody, consolidate that evidence, and store it someplace safe. I recommend you store it in two places, one on a hard drive on your computer and also in the cloud. So make sure it's getting backed up to somewhere like Dropbox or Google Drive, somewhere that it's going to be safe and secure, and it's going to be off-site so you don't lose it. Make sure it's saved, make sure it's stored. This type of advice is highly, highly recommended. So I'm encouraging you, if you've been charged with an offense, immediately, doesn't matter how much time has elapsed, put pen to paper. The police are doing this. The government does this. This is important for you to do because by the time you hire a defense attorney, you may have forgotten half of the events, especially if there was alcohol or drugs involved. You may have not remembered much of anything by the time everything kind of passes and you come to. So get this stuff down. Do not skip this advice. It can be very, very helpful It can show us that there were other witnesses that the police didn't talk to, that there were other people involved at the scene. So get this stuff down and get it over to your defense attorney. If you are interested in speaking with our team, we offer free case evaluations. We'll have you come in, we'll talk about exactly what happened, we'll see where some of the holes are, see if we can probe your memory a little bit to get that stuff down. But if you want to speak with us, there's literally nothing to lose. It's a free case evaluation. We'll get you straightened out. Give us a call. We look forward to speaking with you soon. Thanks for watching.